In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a basic vertical recycler view and display images and text like you're seeing on the screen here. Also, if you click on one of the items, it will display a toast message at the bottom there and print out the name just like you can see right there. We're going to be using the glide library to display the images and another external library for turning the image views into circle image views. So we're going to start from complete scratch just so you can see what it's like to build it from the absolute bottom. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call it RecyclerView, I guess. Go next and just do empty activity and main activity, and activity main is fine. And let Android Studio build your project. So to start off, we need to get all the dependencies that we're going to need to build the recycler view. So let's go and open a new Chrome window and I've already Googled it obviously, but just Google Android RecyclerView support library. And that's where you're going to go to get the library. So we can just click this first link here. And if you scroll down to the right or just search RecyclerView, you can see the V7 RecyclerView library right there. So we're going to click that. And here's the dependency. So we're just going to copy this. So I got that copied. Now go back to Android Studio, go to the build.gradle app file right here. And actually I want to change the targeted SDK and the min SDK to 27 also. And that means I'm also going to have to change this. So 27.0.2. If you're confused, don't worry about that. Just copy basically exactly what I have here and you'll be okay. So now let's put in the dependency. I'm going to say RecyclerView and then just write compile, and there's our dependency. So that's the RecyclerView one. Now let's get the glide dependency. So I'm going to write a little heading here saying glide, and then we're going to open up a Chrome window again to get that next dependency. So if you remember from my demo, I was displaying images in the RecyclerView, and that's what we're going to use glide for. Glide is actually what's going to be retrieving the images from the internet. And so I have the link open here. You can just go to github.com/bumptech/glide, or just Google Android glide, and that'll be the first link right here. So scroll down, and here we can see here are the dependencies. So we can just copy that, and once again go back to Android Studio, and we're going to paste in those dependencies just below this little glide heading right here, and we're almost done. Now we just need one more dependency to make these image view widgets into circles. It just makes it easier. You can code it up yourself, but it's much easier just to use an external library. So once again, I have it open right here. github.com, I don't know how to say this word, /circle image view. Alternatively, you could just go Android circle image view, Google that, and first link right here. So we can just scroll down, and there is the dependency, and go back to Android Studio, and once again type a heading, so circle image view, and we can paste that in, and now we're ready to press sync. So things you want to watch out for here is make sure that the RecyclerView version matches your app compat version, and also that will match your compile SDK version and your targeted SDK version. Otherwise, you might get issues. Okay, so now we have everything we need to get started. Before we start, I want to go into the manifest and just allow internet permission so that I don't forget later. So just do uses permission and start typing internet, and that's going to allow us to make requests. Because if you recall from the demo, once again, we're using the glide library to make requests to the internet and retrieve images. So we need to use internet permission to do that. So that's what this line is for right here. Now we can close the manifest and start building our RecyclerView. So the way RecyclerView works is basically each one of these entries has its own layout, and then the RecyclerView uses what's called a view holder to fill those little layouts with information. So each one is going to be different, obviously. So this is a different image than that image, and it just adds new information to these little individual layouts, and then it recycles them. So to get started, we need to first add in our entire RecyclerView container, which is this whole screen right here that contains all of the entries, and then we're going to need to build a layout for each individual entry itself. That might have sounded confusing, so I'll just do it, and hopefully it'll make sense. So go into activity main, and we can delete this text view and just change this to a relative layout. Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to use the relative layout. And now we're going to add a recycler view here. So you can see the Android support v7 RecyclerView, do match parent, and just give it an ID of RecyclerView. And that's really all we need here. This is just the container that's going to contain the entire list of items. That's it. So we can actually close activity main. Next, we're going to build the layouts for each individual item, as I just mentioned. So go into your resources folder here, click on layout, right click on it, go to new layout resource file, and I'm going to change this to a relative layout. And in here, I'm just going to call this layout list item, because that's what it is. It's a layout for each individual list item in the RecyclerView. Okay, so let's start building this. First, we're going to add the circle image view widget. So you can just start typing DE, and you can see there it is right there. And I'm going to make it 80 dp by 80 dp. And then we're going to give it an ID of just image. And we can actually add an image to it. So just type src, and then you can see there's a bitmap image that pops up, just so we can get an idea of what our layout is going to look like. So we want to put kind of like a dummy image in there. And now we need a text view. This is going to be for displaying the name. And you can just use wrap content, and do text. I'm just going to put in some text, just so this is like dummy text, so we know kind of what it's going to look like and where it's going to be positioned. And let's change this actually too to wrap content and wrap content. Oh, not, we want actually match parent for the width. There we go. And we're going to give this one an ID of image name, and we want to align it to the right of the image view. So just do image. Now it's to the right of the image. You can see it's kind of slided over now. And I'm going to change the text color to black. So just go $000, that's the hex color for black. And I want to align this vertically, whoops. Vertical, center vertical, true. And that'll kind of drop it down into the center of the layout there. And now do margin left to slide it over away from the image a little bit. And I'm going to change the text size to 17 SP just to make it a little bigger. So that's generally what we want this layout to look like. I'm just going to add a little bit of padding to the top here, 15 dp, just to kind of bring it all into the center. But that's generally it. That's pretty much what we want this to look like. So these are the individual list items that are getting recycled inside of the container. So this is the container, and then it's going to contain all of these individual items that get recycled over and over again. So we can close this and close this. Now we're ready to build our RecyclerView adapter. So what this does is it actually it adapts the individual list items. So like this list item right here, it adapts it to the main container layout. So you can't just kind of shove them in there. You have to make a special class to adapt it. And that's what this list adapter is going to be called. So create a new Java class, and we'll go RecyclerView adapter. And before we extend anything or anything like that, first of all, let's type a log. So just type log t, and you can see the log comes up there. That's just for debugging if you don't know. And now we're going to create a view holder class. So go public class view holder, and extend, we can just get view holder. You can see Android support v7 widget RecyclerView, and get that right there. Then squiggly bracket, and that's good. So now you can see this is underlined, it's red, it's angry. If you click on it, you can see this little red light bulb pops up. Click on create constructor matching super, and there we go. So what this view holder is going to do is it actually holds the widgets in memory of each individual entry. So like this entry, this entry, this entry, it will hold each one individually in memory, and that's what actually gets recycled. That's why it's called a view holder, because it's holding that view and getting ready to add it, getting ready to add the next one or whatever. So we need to declare all of our widgets in here. So we can go circle image view, our image, and then text view for the image name. And we're also going to need to add the relative layout, which I forgot to actually give an ID to. So give an ID to this and say parent layout. Whoops. ID parent layout. I'm giving this an ID because this is what I'm going to use to attach the on-click listener. So parent layout. We'll talk more about that later. So just going to give a little more space down here. Okay, so now we need to attach the widgets to their IDs. So image equals equals item view dot find view by ID r.id dot image, should be just image, and image name item view find view by ID r.id dot image name, and then the parent layout, which is the layout that I just gave that ID to. So find view by ID r.id dot parent layout. Cool. So that's all we need to do for inside of our view holder. Now that we have our view holder class created, we can extend our RecyclerView adapter class. So we just go extend, and then to start typing RecyclerView, and then do RecyclerView.adapter, and then we can specify an adapter type. So inside of our adapter type, we actually have the view holder class that we just created. So that's referring to this view holder class right here. So it's saying I'm creating an adapter by extending the RecyclerView adapter class, and I'm specifying the type, which is, it's going to be a view holder type, which is what we just created. And once again, you can see the red underline here, it's angry, so just click on it and then click the red light bulb and go implement methods, select all of those methods, those are required for this class, and then just click and it will pop them in there. Now we're ready to declare all of our variables that we need for this class. So just kind of go below the tag here, and the first thing we need is an array list, and this array list is going to be of string type, and this is what's going to hold our image names. So I'm going to go image names equals new array list, and then we're going to create another array list. Array list, and this is going to be images equals new array list. And last one is we need the context. So context, and we'll talk about more about those in a sec here. We need the constructor too. So the default constructor for the RecyclerView adapter. So just hit Control Shift Insert. Alt Shift Insert. Alt Shift Insert, and you can select the constructor there, and then you select all of the variables that we just created. There we go. This is actually kind of taking up a lot of room. There we go. And so now the default constructor will get the image names, the images, and the context for us. I'm going to move the context to the front, just kind of where I like it. There's no reason for that. I just like to put it there. And that's good. So now move on to our onCreate view holder here. So this method is the one that's actually responsible for inflating the view. So we need to go view equals layout inflator dot from, and then we can get the context. So go parent dot get context, and close that, and then do dot inflate, and then we specify the layout file for our list items. So we go layout list item, and then just type parent and false. Now we need to get the view holder. So I'm going to create a view holder object. View holder object, which is this class right here. So I'm creating an object of this class right here. So view holder equals new view holder, and then we can pass the view, and then we just want to return the view holder, and that's it. If this doesn't make sense to you, or this kind of portion right here, it's not really like super important to understand how it works. This is pretty much going to be the same for any RecyclerView adapter that you make. You could just copy this straight up without changing a thing other than obviously the layout. So I wouldn't even worry about that. Just know that it's recycling the view. It's recycling the view holders, basically. It's putting them into the positions that they should be put into. So now let's go into onBind view holder. And this is kind of the important method that's going to change based on what your layouts are and what you want them to look like. So I'm going to start by actually writing a log, just because this method is going to get called every single time a new item is added to the list. So you'll see in the log that if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items, in the log this is going to print 9 times. So it's good for debugging, so we know if one of them failed, where it failed, it'll tell us, and we'll know, okay, if it failed, if it only put 4 items in there, then I know the 5th one caused it to fail. So it's kind of just a good idea to stick that log in there. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we need to get the images. So we're going to go glide with context, and then do as bitmap, because we're going to be getting bitmaps, and we do load, and this is where we would reference the image URLs. So get position, and then we want to do into the target, which is the image view widget. So we just do that. So this is just takes the context, tells glide that we want it as a bitmap. we're loading this is the image URL, so this is kind of like the resource where it's coming from, and then we're loading it into the image view. And to reference the image view, we reference our view holder, and then we reference our image widget, which is this widget right here, labeled image. Okay, so then next we want to use our view holder and set the image name. So just do image name, set text, and this is going to be imagenames.get position, and that's it. And lastly, we need to attach an on-click listener to each one of these list items, because if I click it, you can see, oops, if I click it, there we go. You can see that a toast will pop up. So we need an on-click listener to do that. So just do holder.parent layout and then set on-click listener, new capital O-N. You can see view.onClickListener pops up there. And once again, I'm going to do a little log here just saying clicked on some image. So I'll do names, get position, and that'll print the image name to the log also. Now just type toast and get the context. And in here, once again, I'm going to do names, get position. So that will just print out the name. And last, we need to add either image names or the image URLs here, and then just do .size. And this tells the adapter how many list items are in your list. If I was to leave this as 0, nothing would happen. So you get a blank screen when we actually start our app. So it's very important that you do that. There we go. Okay, so we're almost done. We have pretty much everything we need. Now we just need to go into main activity and actually make the adapter, make the objects, and get everything going. So first I'm going to create a log by just going log t for debugging. And then we create a little heading here that says vars for variables. Do private array list string, and we do mnames, and private array list string image URLs. So basically I'm just getting the same lists as we're using in our adapter here, because these are the ones that we're going to have to pass to the adapter. So I have those two data structures ready to go. I'm going to get a little bit more space here. Let's see. So let's log first, I guess. We can just go started just to let me know that everything started okay. And I'm going to create a method called init image bitmaps. Oh, can't type. There we go. And inside here, once again, I'll log and just say preparing, or I guess, yeah, preparing bitmaps. And I've already gone out ahead of time and selected, why is this red? Oh, whoops, private void. So I've already gone out ahead of time and selected some image URLs that we're going to be using. So I'm just going to copy and paste them in here. So all I've done is I have image URLs and I've added this image URL. So if I was to type that into a browser window, you would just see one of the images. And so that's all these are. They're just different images. I actually got them from Reddit. Nowhere special, just some random ones that I picked. And then I added a name. So I just do names.add to add a name and do the same thing all the way down for all these images. So that's what we need to do to set up or kind of get the images. So then I'm just going to call that in onCreate, init bitmap images, or init image bitmaps, and that's done. Now we need to create a method for actually setting up our RecyclerView. So I'll go private void init RecyclerView, and inside here I'll do a log again, init RecyclerView, and we'll create our RecyclerView widget. RecyclerView equals find view by ID, r2id dot RecyclerView, and create our RecyclerView adapter object, which is the class that we just made right here, and equals new RecyclerView adapter. And in here we need to pass it, you can see I'm holding down control and hovering over it just in case you don't know. Just like we've defined, I need to pass the context, the image names, and then the image URLs. That's what this default constructor is right here. So we need to pass it the context, the image names, and then the image URLs. That's what this takes right here. So we can do the context by just referencing this, and then we do names and then image URLs. Then we want to set the adapter to the RecyclerView, and then do RecyclerView set layout manager. You can just do new linear layout manager. We don't need anything special, and that's it. So we'll call this after we've got all of our bitmaps. So we just call init RecyclerView inside of our init bitmaps method. So the flow will kind of be like onCreate will start, it's going to get the bitmaps, and then once it has the bitmaps, or sorry, once it has the image URLs, it's going to init the RecyclerView. And that should be it. So I'm going to open the log so we can kind of view what's happening. Oh, as it's happening. Oh, kind of another thing I like to do, I'll just show you. Copy your package name and go to edit filter configuration. I like to just, because sometimes the app will crash or something and you'll lose the log. So this is just going to filter the log to only show things for your application and not other things that are happening with the phone. So if you didn't see that, I pressed the play button, and now we're going to take a look and see what happens here. So there we go. There we have our RecyclerView successfully creating everything. You can see it scrolling. I can click on something, so I just clicked on Portugal. It displays it. Everything's working as we expect. And if we check the log, we can see onCreate is called here. We have preparing bitmaps, which is our method call right here. We have init RecyclerView, which is then called afterwards right here. And then we have the onBind view holder method being called, like I talked about in our view holder. So you can see, remember we put the log right here, and I said it would be called 9 times if there's 9 images. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. And then also the onClick right here when I clicked on the Portugal entry from this log output right here. So that's it. Hopefully it was helpful. I'm going to be also doing a horizontal RecyclerView and a staggered RecyclerView shortly after I release this video. So make sure to follow the Coding with Mitch Facebook page or follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. And I provide updates typically for when I'm producing new content that I think is going to be helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.